he knew that he was like, okay, I am not her God. She has to find him. And at that point, she had kind of put Michael in that place. And she finally realized, or I feel that she still felt very unworthy of him and wanted the best for him and felt she could not provide that. And I think she, in her mind, was leaving for the right reasons, and little did she know that it was God pulling her. Because there's a lot of things that she says that you can tell those are things that she has learned along the way. You know, that God's pulling her in that direction, and she needed to feel that she was worth something more than what she's always been used for.
I think too, she learned from Michael, who was very sacrificial of his life in her mind, to be taking her on as a wife when he could have had Miriam, whom she thought, which would have been a much better choice. And so now here's my opportunity to be sacrificial as well and lay down my feelings for him, you know. And this was her unconditional love, and how she thought, I will lay this down for you, because how she left him was kind of a beautiful, bittersweet way to do it. She didn't just up and go. She set everything up beautiful for him. And he knew in his heart that something was going to happen.
He knew, and he still went on.
When he was, I think the night before, they were like out by the moon and stuff, and he was like having dialogue with God, like in his mind, and he was like, why are you taking her? Like, he just knew she was saying goodbye, and she'd cleaned the house and like cooked for him, and so sad.
Gosh, I loved that.
Who was the little restaurant owner? The guy who was just at his wit's end. He was going to have to close the doors.
Virgil.
Didn't you just love him?
Yes.
Jesus, he said.
She was there to prayer.
Yes. She's like, me? Yes.
Yes, that's a very good point.
She was the answer to prayer.
I mean, think about that. Where she came from, Michael Hosea was the answer
To everything.
everything.
Yes.
She was the answer to
She
someone's
was
prayer.
the answer.
That was, I think that was huge for her.
Yes.
Huge. For her to go in there, take this thing over, rebuild it, and make it a success.
And she had learned so many skills from the little
like
family.
the family.
Michael. So she could get in there, she could cook, she could do it. I don't think I could do it back in the pioneer days. You know, all that kind of scratch cooking. That's hard.
I was even thinking in the book, like, is he gonna come and like get her out of the situation? Like, I was waiting for him to like burst down the doors, but like God completely got her out of, got Cherry out of the situation, got that little girl out of the situation. You know, he rescued her on his own, you know, without anybody, you know, he just orchestrated it, like you said, that guy
He did real well.
who heard her sing, you know, it was perfect. After all those years of being tortured by him, like, it took nothing but God's presence and, you know, that how he perfectly orchestrated it for him to just be like, it's just said, he was standing there like, speechless, just done.
That is such a good point, because you know, Satan, when we allow him to, our fear and all of that, he has a grip on you, you know. And for the guy to say, we're just going to walk right out of here, because God is certainly more powerful. That's right. And once you relinquish that,
If he just know it and you walk in it, then you don't have to be afraid. You know?
How Nicole said it. You know,
because it was after this point that she had gone to church
Yeah,
and then
she surrendered.
gave her life to the Lord. But then God had other plans.
Yes, he
didn't he? Even though she felt, okay, this is it. This is my life, and I'm going to give everything that I have to it.
Content.
You could see that she was. Then who shows up on the horizon?
Just get ready to say, comes back.
And it wasn't with his tail between his legs either.
He
He
came
was
back
mad.
because his woman told him.
That's right.
She was like, you go up there and you let her. If you want this to be happy, you better do what I need you to do. His woman told him what to do, and he obeyed to keep peace in his home. You know, and Miriam's was so faithful to Angel, and she knew that she was still there, and she knew what she did and why she did it. And she knew what the reality of that was. She knew that she was not going to marry Michael. She knew that Paul was the man for her. And she knew that Angel was still out there and needed to come home. So Paul shows up, and here he is. And you know, when he first, you know, of course he's angry that he has to go. And it amazes me how when he first gets into town, and sees her, and he sees her hugging the banker, who is such a huge part of her life now. He's like a father figure to her.
Right.
And immediately is like, exactly what I thought. And she's back here doing her thing, you know, like, and I was just like, oh, I just wanted to like you just wait till you find out what she's doing, you know?
But that's good.
So
I think all those thoughts which
Yes.
brought him to a point.
yes,
Yes.
it did.
To the house where she's with the girls.
Yeah, he walks in and he thought he was walking into another brothel. He was like, oh, all these ladies, and then he's like, well, wait a minute, why is it like nice in here?
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a chalkboard on the wall.
What's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really neat. So obviously, eventually, he sits down with Angel and starts to begin with, okay, this is going on, that's going on. And I know in Angel's mind, she is so happy to hear what she thinks is Michael and Miriam's life.
Yeah.
And that they're having children and all of these wonderful things, and she blurts out how happy she is for them, and Paul's like, she's my wife.
Right.
Yes. Which was the instant moment where I think for him and for her, they both realized right there.
Sure.
Because Paul realized that she left for Michael,
Right.
not for herself.
Yes.
And that was, it all just came together right there.
Yes. Yes. It seems like both of them softened. Both of their walls came down, you know, toward each other.
And he almost needed to be humbled. He was so ready to just pounce and be able to say, she hasn't changed. You know?
Needed it.
He
Like,
almost
I told you. I
I almost went
know.
back without going in there. And then he
Stubborn.
started thinking about what his wife would
She'd know it was mine.
What was the name of the ship she was on?
Yeah, exactly. And you
Exactly.
know Miriam would have
Oh,
done
yes.
that in a heartbeat. She
took
would have
charge.
gone.
She would have quizzed him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She would not have backed down, and he knew it.
Yes.
You know, he knew that.
It's so hard though when your pride is up like that. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong. I
But
mean,
there was no way around it. He was so wrong. It was so good.
So
broken because he came to tears in front of her.
And so they journey back home. What was that journey like?
Well, I wanted to say that she didn't even want to go home, I don't think, when she first found out. Mm-hmm. You know, like he,
nervous.
yeah, because he had said something, he was like, you're not coming back, or like you have to come with me, and he gave her like a day to decide or something like that.
This time kind of
Yeah, and she like was
School and
right.
the
She was really
responsibility.
thinking about it, her own life, and that must have been hard too. You know, you establish yourself, and to go back to, not only was Michael like involved with so many good memories that she's had, but also dark. She had had dark times with him, you know, and went through a lot, and to go back to all that and leave this whole new life and
the girls
these
that
people,
she loved,
yeah, she
that she felt
loves
responsible
her
for, that she was
friends.
training and grooming and mentoring. You know, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I just gotta abandon them, and you know.
Or how can this continue on without me? You know?
Right.
We can get caught
That's
up in that
huge,
too.
because that's what we as humans get caught up in, like, nobody can do this job the way I can do it. Right. So I'm gonna have to stick around. I mean, what can I do?
And
Little
didn't
do
you
we
make that
know
point to
that-
her, I think.
God will have another person.
Yeah.
Which was
Her friend stepped up.
Which was
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah,
And
it
it
was
was friends.
The baker's daughter.
Yes.
And it was funny because earlier in the story, when she approached him about wanting to open up this place, he said, and the daughter was so excited, he said, "Oh gosh, I've lost her." You know, he knew that he was going to be passionate about that.
So many details God is in. So many details. Yeah.
That was really good. Okay, so she's on the road with Paul, going home.
I can't imagine what's going through her mind
It's been
at
3
this
years.
journey.
3
years.
years. Let's not forget. 3 years.
And she's reconditioning her mind of 3 years. She has thought that Michael moved on, and that she did all this time, and now she's thinking, oh my God, he's been waiting for me. I wonder if she had that moment of, what did I do? I shouldn't have, I've done it again.
Right.
I've hurt him again.
Right.
You know, I wonder if she had that thought. It's been 3 years of him waiting for you to come back. you know, and she's out there living her life, you know, doing a great job and moving forward.
Thinking she did the best for him. And
Right.
thinking, this is great, you know.
And he's watching Paul and Miriam's family grow, and his is not.
And he did say to her, like, when she took off the ring, I think it was beginning, took off the ring, and he's like, that doesn't mean that you're not my wife, you know, you'll always be my wife, you know, and he did the right thing, honoring her, you know, that's his wife, 3 years or not, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she arrives. She
goes to Miriam and Paul's house first.
I love that.
But what I thought was really cool when they get there, she gets off the carriage horse prior to them approaching Paul's house, and I felt like she did that for Paul, to give Paul and his wife the opportunity to kind of reunite without him there, without that presence. And then she approaches, you know, and she starts to walk, and of course Mara takes off, you know, to her. She's so excited.
Yes, that was good.
And then the same thing when they left to go to see Michael, and she said, okay, you know, you guys stay here. I need to go the rest by myself, you know. So that I thought was, she really put some thought into it, and she was. What I don't understand is why, as she's approaching Michael, she's shedding
I was just going to say
that point too.
Taking off the clothes.
I got
very
Okay,
romantic.
please. What do you think that was about? Because there is definitely something.
Symbolism.
Yes, some symbolism to
My
that.
approach on that is she was finally bearing herself before him, where she was so protected from him, so guarded,
She was
never
stripping it
wanted
off.
him to have any part of who she was. And she was kind of telling him, I am not that anymore. This is me. This is my real name. This is who I am. This is not, you know, and she was, I know it gives me the chills. She was pretty much like, here I am. Take me or leave me, but here I am, finally.
And there is something to be said, to be in such a vulnerable position
Yes.
where you are naked before him like that. And that's how she left him.
Yes.
She
That's
left him
true.
like
She
that. And she came back to him that way. I think, yeah.
So I was going to say, not only is she taking off her clothes like, this is all me,
Yeah.
but then she also says, like, there's only one thing that I can give you that not everybody else in this world has of me.
Yeah.
That's my name. You know, her real name.
Right.
And the symbolism of her name being Sarah and ties to the Bible, how Sarah was barren in the Bible.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
she could not give children, and then at the end of the book it says she was able to bear him children when it was physically impossible because of Duke.
Stepping back to when she was approaching him, didn't that just give your little heart when she noticed the graying in his temples? I'm like, he's probably suffered quite a bit because of
And she
me.
recognized it.
And she recognized it right away.
So, how did Michael receive her?
As his wife, he was open arms.
It's a good thing he didn't say, get out. Yeah.
Pick up your gloves.
Take back that last
Goodness.
So, you gotta put those
He
back
was
on. I don't want none of that.
amazing. Didn't it mention where he could see the difference in her as well, in her face? He was, and he knew right away that she had accepted the Lord. He knew.
And
She could feel it.
She said when he spoke, and I forget what he said, but she said when he spoke that it was as if he didn't know himself if he could forgive her this last time. But he knew, like something about her immediately told him that he could, and he did immediately. And it was, you know, it was the real deal now. And he knew she had come, you know, it was for good.
Yes, and they had lived on and grown old together and had
Had
children
babies.
and had
And she went back
babies.
to the
She went every year to
to
visit.
the home that she had started with a brothel reconstruction.
Reconstruction of
Rehab. A brothel.
Yes.
So I really want us to just go around real fast, just one takeaway. If you can think of one thing, one lesson, one takeaway.
For me, it is how amazing it is that God puts certain people in our lives for a moment to plant a seed. You may or may not see it grow, but you still need to plant it and move on with your life. And that happened so often in her life.
Yes.
Even the singing in the well was a seed that she used years later and didn't even realize that she was gonna, that's the only thing she would remember at her desperate time. So for me, it was that. It's just how amazing it is that God works in these tiny little places in people's lives. And years from now, something may come from that one moment. And not to let those moments slip by.
Love it.
Mine would be God's faithfulness and forgiveness for everyone involved, no matter where you messed up or what you've done. The fact that He is always there and always 100%. It's never, like every time you do something, it's 98%, 93%. Like it's always ready to love you and forgive you and give you all the chances all over again. That's my favorite.
I think mine is that until you're right with God, until you find yourself, nothing else is going to be right. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you plan, it just isn't going to come together like it will when you're right with God and yourself.
So good.
And that He truly does have a better plan for us than we have for ourselves. That is so true. Yeah, and you walked away with my point. But another point would be you just never know what someone is suffering, what they've gone through in their life. You just have no idea, and they act a certain way, and you want to make a quick judgment and hold on to it, and I think I should think twice before I do that.
I think mine is that through reading it, I think I just took away that love is long-suffering and just it's long and hard and upsetting and but it's so worth it and rewarding, and you learn so much. And I just think Francine Rivers did such a good job of making a lifetime happen in such a it looks like a long book, but when you read it you feel like you want more, you're like, there's no more pages. But she put a girl's whole life from the beginning when she was born till they died. It's just everything. And I think it just helped me to remember that some things that I feel like should be instant or should it just should be this way. It should be perfect like this all the time, like relationships or friendships or it's all love is long suffering and enduring, and you just have to keep going.
Mine would be that we could trust God with everything. And just even when we can't see it, even when it doesn't look like it, that He is our Papa and He loves us like a daddy's supposed to love, and that we don't have to look at our earthly relationships with men or with our fathers the way we look at our relationship with God. He is a perfect father and a perfect daddy, and loves us so much unconditionally, and chases after us and chases after us and chases after us, and never never gives up on us. And that to me is just knowing that you can trust Him 100% with everything you are, everything you have, everything you have, and that's what I love about that. So good. Yeah. Well, we can go on and on and on. As you can see, I could just weep. I am so full of joy and so thankful that I have these amazing ladies here with me in my home, and that we got a chance to share this time with you guys. And thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Summer of Love series. I couldn't have asked for anything more. This is exactly what I desired for the summer, on amazing people, and God just pulled it all together. So I'm so thankful. Please subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and just stay tuned for more. And thank you, ladies.
I'm pretty sure that was like in harmony.
It's a wrap.